So today I'm going to talk to you about social engineering. Social engineering is actually in terms of information security, refers to the art of manipulating people to take an action or divulge confidential information. So there's actually quite a history of social engineering in general. The most notable ones are actually Victor Lustig, who is actually the man that sold the Eiffel Tower. Frank Abagnale, you may recognize him. He's the inspiration for the movie Catch Me If You Can, and also the book. And Kevin Mitnick, my personal favorite. He's a notorious hacker that was responsible for a lot of events involving the FBI, hacking into various systems. So with that, I'm going to actually not talk so much about the history or get into the psychological details of social engineering, which is a very vast and broad subject, but instead I'm going to actually talk to you more about how to prevent against such attacks and what the attacks that you're going to commonly see. So with that, the common attacks, keep in mind in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through the wide range of attacks that are possible, but instead I'm going to focus on the most common ones that you are facing even today. So the first is phishing. Now, phishing is essentially casting a very large net. Think of it as somebody that's on a boat trying to catch as many fish as they can. So these emails are very generic. They typically look like they come from a bank account, whether you bank with that company or not. PayPal. There's a lot of different techniques that they use to catch as many people as they can. Now, keep in mind, since they're targeting a wide variety of people and not having any sort of research behind it, the success rate is actually quite low with these. A lot of spam filters catch these pretty easily. A lot of users can see right through these commonly. So the numbers behind this are actually astonishingly low on the success rate. So for the actual amount of emails that people get through, only about 3% typically click on the phishing emails. And out of those 3% that actually click to open the emails, only 5% actually take the action that they're requesting. Next is actually my personal favorite, is spear phishing. I use this all the time in every single one of my attacks that I do. So spear phishing is actually a lot more targeted. So it's phishing just with research behind it. So typically in these types of attacks, an attacker like myself would actually do research on a couple of different people within the environment, whatever the target goal is, the target company I'm after. And with that research, I'm going to look into what these particular individuals are interested in and mimic emails that they're used to seeing and opening up and taking action on. My personal favorite is actually a method called a credential harvester attack, where I'll convince users that their mail is actually changing to a different system, and so click my link and enter in your username and password to make sure that your mail is copied over to the new system correctly. I actually have an astonishing success rate with this. Personally, it's usually around 50 to 80% success rate with the people that I target. So with that, I'm able to get credentials, which I can then use and abuse to get into your network. And keep in mind, with this kind of attack vector, since I already have a user's credentials, I'm a huge threat because now I don't have to drop any sort of malware to get around the environment and steal a bunch of information. Lastly, the last piece is vishing. Now, a lot of people aren't very familiar with this, although I'm sure a lot of people actually out there have experienced this type of attack before. It's where an attacker sets up a rogue IVR, or interactive voice response system, in which case they'll mimic a bank system's traditional IVR, saying, hey, enter your username and password, there's an interesting thing going on with your account. So users will then put in their password, and then a lot of times it'll actually reject it and turn you over to a customer service representative, which is actually the attacker that's going to further try to get more information out of you and ultimately lead to the full compromise of your bank accounts. So that's the 3 common attack vectors. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact us at Infogressive.com, or definitely visit us on Facebook and Twitter. We're there as well. So we definitely like reaching out to people and answering any questions that you have. Thanks.